Call to order the Town of Fontana Dam Town Council meeting, Wednesday, September the 15th. Call to order 5:37 p.m. Present is John Hodgson, Jordan Hedrick, Zellery Rogers, Rob Hardy, Tiffany Duke, and we've got Charlie here from the paper as well, running the, I guess it's Facebook Live.
Correct.
Hello out there to everyone in internet land. Hopefully we don't bore you too much. Let's see, agenda. Does anybody have any comments, adjustments? Otherwise, entertain motions.
Make a motion to approve the agenda.
Thanks, George. All in favor? Alright, August minutes. Didn't see anything. I took a look a little earlier online. If we don't have any adjustments, comments, modifications, so entertaining motions.
Entertain a motion to approve it.
Thanks, Tiffany.
I think we probably also have to have a motion to approve the
Close session.
closed session minutes. I forgot to write that in there. I didn't print them out, but I did send a copy to everybody, so.
Make a motion to approve the closed session minutes for last month.
Thanks, John. All in favor?
Alright.
Okay, so public comment. Charlie, got anything for us?
No, I mean, new paper should be out on the racks now if you want to pick up a copy when you get a chance. So,
Look it up. New paper. Get them while they're out.
for sure.
You're filling it today, are you, Russ?
I'm just interacting with.
With our
How many do we have on there, by the way? Does it say? 5.
Five.
All right.
There you go.
Tell your friends. Utility reports. Water plant demolition update.
Yeah, I don't think we updated everybody on everything that happened there.
What's the mileage? I was checking it up.
Yeah, they came in. I guess they were there for nearly a month. I guess they didn't anticipate the amount of sludge that they encountered. I think that was a big difference. I think they also ran into some issues with the demolition itself because the structure was assumed to have been a little weaker, a little more run down than what it actually was. It was a crew called Brandenburg who was doing contract work for TVA. They were pretty big contractors, so this was a very small job. And they expected to pop in and out. They ran into a couple of issues early on. Jason he thought they might have been doing something they weren't doing, and he caused a big stink. And that was another kind of nail in the coffin for him, so to speak. He may be watching, so. Let's see. So they got it done. We went up there a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
And everything looked pretty good. I think it was just a slab that was left. They had pretty much put down some various size rock here and there.
It looks really good down there. It's real clean looking as opposed to what it was, you know. And so, I mean, we had to leave a basin back there for the overflow when the plant isn't pumping to allow the pressure from the pipes so it doesn't break the pipes going across over to the dam itself. So that's the only thing that's left up there. Now, I did send a bill to Brandenburg because we were making a pretty good sum of money off of it. But I haven't heard back from them yet. So
Yeah, on the water disposal and then the sludge disposal, I think it added up to what,
$20-some thousand. I can't remember.
We made.
No, we're getting.
Well, for the disposal of this, they basically put it in a pump truck, drove down to the treatment plant, offloaded it, and kind of did that trip a number of times. So
we're having some issues with the sludge that was dumped.
some of the sludge was
So
too
big that our
thick
pumps
for
can't
it,
do
and it created some, basically it kind of constipated the plant. Generally what happens. So
Dang.
we're trying to work through that, get some fiber in there.
Yeah, fiber.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Let's see, so, generally speaking, I think we're on the backside of that, hopefully we'll be done. I don't think we're gonna really retain, I think the property reverted back to TBA, from my understanding. We're not really gonna have access to it. We could potentially ask them if we had an idea, because there is a slab still there. We could potentially put something like a building, storage building, but I'm almost of the opinion putting a building down there, it's kind of all on its own, without any communication, and it'd be just right.
And we already had, remember back several years ago,
Vandalisms.
backhoe
theft.
disappearing from down there, so.
So
Track of it.
I don't see any reason to do anything down there. I expect it to just kind of grow up and,
They go back to
they're gonna put the gate, they're gonna lock the gate, so there's really nothing for anybody to get into up there. So it's kind of, it's safe. There's just a bunch of rock up there, big rock parking lot as well. So next, the state report on the water plant.
Yeah, so, Nicole came up for her inspection there, and there were several things that was noted, and I do want to mention that Dennis actually has done already several of these things that was mentioned in this, so I applaud him for that. He's taken the initiative to do that. So it was a sanitary survey, and it was on August 19th, and 8 components of the drinking water system were evaluated to determine compliance. That was the source, the treatment, the distribution, the finished water storage, pumping and controls, and monitoring and reporting, system management and operator compliance. The following is a summary of the findings. So it says the town of Fontana Dam source water is Fontana Lake, which according to the source water assessment program is rated as moderate for vulnerability and susceptibility rating. So we need to continue to maintain security in and around raw intake, which the dam does that in itself. I don't think that there's anything that we do there. The treatment. The town of Fontana Water Treatment Facility is a conventional package plant which utilizes aluminum sulfate as a flocculant, caustic for pH adjustment, sodium hypochlorite as disinfectant, and orthophosphate for corrosion control. There will be a test. It is a good idea to check the specific gravity of all chemicals upon receipt. Now, I don't know if we've ever done this. I never heard anything about that before. But before unloading, to ensure correct chemical and chemical strength. And she says you can easily do this by using a hydrometer, which are inexpensive and easy to use. So I've never heard of that. All right, so this is the one that we're not really sure about. It is unknown what percentage of the town's distribution lines are cast iron. Now, Dennis says none, but I don't know if that's true or not. It says regardless if cast iron lines are in the distribution, lead goosenecks should be replaced as they are found. A plan for lead goosenecks and lead line removal should be developed for the 2021 revised lead and copper rule. If 5 or more cross connections exist in your system, you're required to have in place a cross connection policy for all testable devices. There again, Dennis says we don't. So I wouldn't know. I don't know. We have to just assume that that is correct. I don't know anybody that would really know, any more than what
I
he
was going
would.
to say, I guess we'll go back to when TBA gets us a pretty accurate as-built.
Yeah. The purpose of having cross-connection devices is to protect the water system from unwanted contamination. We recommend developing an inventory of locations required to have cross-connection devices, along with ensuring that the proper device is being used and tested regularly. So that would include backflow devices at the wastewater treatment plants, water plants, and restaurants, etc. Fontana currently has over 77% unaccounted for water in the distribution. So we strongly recommend performing a water loss audit to help determine where the unaccounted water is going, which we've done pretty much, and it just can't be found. According to the SWAP report, the town currently has over 250 unmetered water consumers. Providing meters on some of your large consumers will greatly help in finding these major leaks. Due to one of the 2 booster pumps at the intermediate tank being undersized, the system struggles to fill the village tank, resulting in overflow at the intermediate tank. We recommend replacing the small pump with a larger pump. If the town loses the large booster pump due to failure, the small pump would not be capable of filling the village tank, which would result in a loss of pressure, water outages, and boil water advisories. To avoid water outages during power events, it is a requirement for this law to provide auxiliary power in order to satisfy the design minimum water needs of the system. So she's saying that we are required to have a generator down there and a bigger pump, a secondary bigger pump.
Let's build an even bigger wish list.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't know.
We need a bigger pump and we need a generator. That sounds like about 150.
Maybe more now. Yeah.
$200,000 at least.
Yeah, because I know that generator that's down at the wastewater and water plant were both, just the generators are over $300,000.
Really?
Yeah, they're expensive. Okay, finished water and storage. Continue to maintain and inspect distribution tanks, and if possible, keep a visitation log on each side of each tank. Dennis did that. We put logs up there, so anybody that goes up there now and examines it can sign off on it. The access roads to the village tank need some upkeep, and then install a lock on the village tank access lever, which he's done that too. So I've got a word into Jeff, because of all that rains.
Did they ever actually do that work before on that road?
Yeah, we got quite a bit of work done.
New erosion that's occurred in the last.
Well, I think a lot of it's because of those heavy rains that we've had.
We had 2 or 3 events yet.
Pumps and controls, as mentioned before, please upgrade your small booster pump to a larger pump and provide auxiliary power. Laboratory and water quality monitoring were up to date during the inspection, but please remember to keep all data at the plant organized and easy to locate. For daily triration tests, I recommend using a digital tri-rater, which we ordered. That's going to be right at maybe a little over $600. Okay. It avoids mathematical mistakes when calculating these triration results.
Titration?
Titration.
Titration.
Yeah. Water system staff should develop and keep up to date a source water risk and resiliency plan. Now this, she said it was due by 1/1/2021. So when she came in and talked to me, she said, don't do it, don't try to do it, get a hold of Rural Water or SERCAP to do it. So I called Keith Buff with Rural Water and got him on it. He got the person that has been helping other systems develop this plan. And ours is not actually due until the October of 2022.
Okay.
So that's something, I don't know why she thought, I think the rule was revised at some point. Maybe she didn't have the new revision, and that's why she was saying it was due in January. But I think it's actually, they were going to call her, send her an email or something, and tell her that, that everybody needs to be on the same page there, that it's actually not due until October of 2022. So the plan is huge. It's a big thing. It should have already been in the works. It really should have, but I think that they're still going to help us with it. So, then all operators should be able to obtain C certification and have worked at the facility for a minimum of 6 months and for operating plan unsupervised. In addition, we do all that. We're also required to keep on-site records of your bacteriological sampling results for 5 years, chemical sampling results for 10 years, and lead and copper sampling results for 12 years. They are outlined in Rules Governing Public Water Supplies. So, and she said, we appreciate all that you and your water system staff do to provide safe drinking water to the town of Fontana Dam. I would like to thank Gary Stewart, Dennis Pilkington for their time and courtesy during this inspection. So there you go. Not bad. There's some things that are out of our control. But
So I think just quickly, just to get, Jordan may not be kind of aware of what happened. A few things have changed over the last month, and that is that Carrie is now the acting ORC.
Right.
And, Jason was let go from his job and from evicted per the terms of the agreement, which were violated at some point. It's pretty much Meredith's call. Meredith made the call. We were generally in agreement with it, and I think we didn't really want to deal with the situation as it was any further.
Mhm.
And so we just let it kind of play out, and then we had to get some ducks lined up in a row.
Yeah.
So we got Carrie to come in on an interim basis, and we'll talk a little bit more about things. I think we're going to have to go into closed session to talk about some personnel there. But I just wanted to get you up to speed on why Carrie is being mentioned now.
Right. I'm glad she's.
Yes, we were fortunate.
Yeah, because she had said she wouldn't, but I might call crying.
Yeah.
Please.
That'll do it.
So I guess any questions on the water plant, the state inspection and the report there? Okay. Moving on to wastewater.
So, we also received a request from the state that, this Daniel Boss has, which is, he's assistant supervisor in the Asheville Regional Office. So he wanted 3 things from us: a collection system integrity studies performed in the last 2 years, such as smoke tests by the town, contractors, non-profit organizations, etc. So we've had rural water up here that has done a smoke test for us. I'm trying to get the results of that, but for some reason he can't seem to send it in a format that I can open, either through my phone or through my email. So hopefully he'll get that to me by tomorrow, since this is actually due tomorrow. But I did send him an email and he replied. So it's in a weird mind.
Yeah, I'm looking that up right now. What a mind file. Multi-purpose internet mail extension. So it's an encoded format by email programs. Thus, MIME files can contain file attachments and richer character sets than ASCII. It supports non-text attachments like audio, video, images. Need to open a MIME file. See, how do you open extract? Okay, so you extract it using WinZip. So evidently it's like an archive. It's compressed.
Zip file.
Yeah, I think it's like a zip file. So it's.
So do I have to download a WIN file extractor or something?
Yeah, you could download. You could look for WinZip, and then you could you save the MIME file locally to your hard drive and to your computer, and then you would launch WinZip, and then you would click on the file, and it should use WinZip. I think WinZip recognizes MIME files; they're associated.
Okay.
So just I think if you.
Because I've opened compressed files
I'm
before.
surprised you don't have like a WinZip or something like that on your computer.
Maybe I haven't. I just haven't.
Maybe take a look.
Yeah, I will.
Yeah, it looks like it's an archive file because what it does is it compresses it. What it does is it takes this batch of attachments that you've attached to your email, squeezes them down into a smaller file size, so then the email can be sent easier.
Okay.
Then when it gets to the other end, then they can open it back up.
Right.
And expand it.
Yeah, I understand the concept of it, but like I said, I know I've opened compressed files before. Maybe it was but maybe you have to open it and then put the attachment into it for it to open instead of just doing it
Yeah, you could
automatically.
potentially. Usually, I think a MIME file type would be associated with an archive program like WinZip. I've only really done like zip files.
Yeah, that's what I've done too, is
Yeah,
zip
I've heard
files.
some of them.
Yeah, and maybe
Yeah,
it's
so it might be something totally different than.
maybe email specific.
So in addition, he wanted analytical results of any sampling of water bodies in or around the collection system performed in the last 2 years, and a narrative describing the discharge of the town's water treatment facility, the volume, duration of flow, quality, etc., directly into the wastewater treatment plant. So I'm working on that report as we speak. Let me get that together for the state.
Okay. And how about Did Dennis, is he making any progress?
We we had another blockage. The last three manholes were plugged up. You know, we spent a lot of time and effort on getting all these things done. And so finally, today, Lee English was up here all day long and bought his jet truck up here. And they worked from like 9 to 4:30 and finally got all three of them cleared out. But there was buckets of gravel that he bought out of there. So
We think probably what happened with the last two rain storms we've had, we've got some intrusion of some rocks and just, you know, foreign stuff that's coming into the system, and then it just kind of goes down the hill, and then it just kind of collects and jams up once it gets into the curves.
Well, but this was on down below that. It was down below everything we've done. It's actually right there in a level spot, you know. So it was the last three manholes. And so it's past that one curve, and right before the turnoff, there's that one manhole there. There's a manhole right there where you turn off, and then there's one inside the wastewater plant yard there inside the field.
Oh, okay.
So those were the three that they got. But I went down there later, like about 4:30, and they were cleaning up, and Dennis said that flow was established and everything was operating as it should be. So there was no overflow. There was nothing that, you know, contamination of any kind. So
about the other issue that we were having with the plant kind of being plugged up there.
it's still, that's next on his agenda. You know, he wanted to get the flow taken care of, and then and he also expressed, he asked me how many applications I had for ORC for the water plant. And
I think, you know, I would emphasize to him strongly, let's worry about solving that particular problem, because right now that is the most pressing issue in my mind in our utility system.
he did say that the pumps are off at the pool, the Lazy River pool, and that when he closed down yesterday, I think he said he left about 3 or something like that, so he got full a lot quicker. And then he come in like at 5, and it was still like up at 13 feet, so it was holding a lot better. So yeah, maybe that, you know, get through the winter. I don't know. But anyway, that's where we're at with wastewater. I don't think there was anything else really too pressing that was going on there. So
Questions about wastewater?
were you ever one to know?
Yeah.
All right, moving to the financials.
All right, so we currently in the bank have $157,283.63, but I have $24,000 in checks in there. I've got a deposit, and then $2,152.85 in our water account, for a total of $183,436.48.
All right. Any questions about financials? Concerns? Okay.
So we kind of talked about that. I mean, what are, you know, I need to put out some kind of ad somewhere, even if it's like through the listserv or something, but
I think we probably need to maybe put out an ad. Maybe we don't have to set a deadline straight away. Maybe we put it out, but we can certainly work towards some date. I don't know, a month, 2 months. I don't know.
I will tell you that the listserv is filled with people needing workers.
Well,
ORCs, water plant operators, wastewater operators. I mean, there is a lot of them out there that are, you know, I think the problem is there's not a lot of young people going into that line of work, and the old people are retiring out. And, you know, because it's a very lonely job, you know, you go in the wee hours of the morning, there's nobody else around you. I mean, you know, just from, you know, I mean, it just takes a very unique human being to be able to do that job. And so it's hard.
We're going to have to work out, you know, where we want to place ads and what our schedule is when we'd like to kind of close the process and look at who we, you know, what applications we've got. I think Dennis has expressed an interest.
Yes, he has.
I think we've had a couple of other possibilities that
They didn't pan out. They didn't pan. I talked to a couple of people. One of them said that maybe in a year's time, he'd be interested. That right now, he just didn't feel comfortable about making a move. And the other one was basically thinking that he could just be the ORC without actually having to be here. But because we're surface water and not a well, because a well or a small system, they can do that. But as a surface water, they have to live within 50 miles of the plant. So when he found that out, he's like, well, I'm really sorry. So I told all of them and also Nicole with the state, to keep hammering away and see if they can find anybody, that be willing, even if it's somebody young that like wants to make a move up the ladder or something, that.
Someone that wants to go to school.
And we've also, we're also,
Pay for them to get, like,
I've considered that.
pay their way to get it.
Yeah.
Like somebody's people, maybe, somebody that works in maintenance, art, that, that's invested here that might wanna.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, there's certainly an opportunity.
the thing about it though is that you got to first spend 6 months in the water industry. You got to go down there and work with somebody. It doesn't say how many hours. It says 6 months. You've got to spend 6 months learning about it. Then you can go take a test, and then if you pass that test, you can actually operate the plant. So, as long as you have like a C level.
So you wouldn't necessarily be an acting ORC at that point. You'd still need to put in some time. So
After you do the schooling.
right.
Yeah.
So as far as finding a qualified operator or developing a qualified operator, you're probably talking year and a half, probably 2 years before somebody can really, you feel comfortable turning them loose with a B service.
It'd be good if they could work, like, maybe they want to work out something where they spend time down there, since it's not by hours, it's by maybe they could work part of the day and still earn their pay, and then.
Right. If there was somebody.
That'd be a lot of.
Yeah, but I don't know anybody here either though that would be really interested in that. I mean, there's some.
Well, they may have thought about it, like.
Oh, maybe.
Has David ever expressed them?
We talked about it once before. Yes, we did. But he decided after much discussion that he just didn't think that would be a good fit for him. So, I mean, he would have the. And another thing is that you have to be very strong mathematically because it's a lot of formulas and stuff that you have to do. So, that puts me out. I can write up the reports, but I can't figure the formulas out. So I don't know. It's going to be tough.
Because Terry is only for.
I think we're
Until
going to talk a little bit more in closed session about some specifics.
Yeah.
We're talking more generals right now.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't know. She can only do dual, I think, for a year, and she'd used like 6 months of it up before. So that kind of puts us on a timeline too, so. Now, I don't know if she can ask and they'll give her another, I don't know how that works.
At some point.
Yeah. Or that, it's just a matter of just saying, this issue still isn't resolved. Can I request an additional year, 6 months, whatever? I'm not sure. But I don't think that she really wants to do it for, another year. I mean, that's hard. And because her plant, she's had to do double duty sometimes over there too, especially if people get sick and with COVID and everything. So, it's hard.
She's a stopgap in a lot of areas.
Yeah. Yeah, she is. So.
All right, any questions there? We're going to talk some more about that, I think, a little later. All right, garbage truck.
All right, so I got a hold of Becky with the state, with the county, and talked to her about a fleet type place, and she sent me to this North Carolina fleet thing. The problem with these bids and stuff is that you purchase as is, and you don't really know what the issues are about some of these trucks or anything. And I'm finding that,
That's used.
yeah, that's used, they're used, and there's none of them that are new because they're auctioning them off, for the most part, which is kind of it's not NC.gov or gov deals or whatever that was, but most of them are located in Raleigh, so we'd have to go there and get them,
eBay for government.
Well,
Basically.
What about, is there a program to purchase at the lowest cost to government
She said that is really the only thing that she is aware of that a person can go to. It is NC, like,
So how do they buy their new vehicles?
it's through that to get those new vehicles, I think, but I don't know whether, when I looked online, I did not see any new vehicles on there. So, I don't know.
So I guess what I'm trying to figure out, like, for example, we went through on the,
Deals,
with the recycling truck.
right?
You know, we went through the state, we got access to their pricing, which I would assume is the lowest pretty much price that someone could access because they have a vast fleet of vehicles across the entire state. So, I mean, to me, that's what I would.
Yeah, there has to be something out there. And maybe I just haven't looked under the right tab yet, maybe. I mean, it's not something, it keeps getting pushed off, because as other things come up. But, I mean, I'll examine it more closely, because you're right, they have to get vehicles from someplace. And, I actually, though, I thought about even just contacting, like, Ford and Swain or Murphy and Hayesville and seeing if they have a used truck that is in good, because it would have most of them would still have some kind of warranty on them.
Yeah, we did.
And we would just have to go there to get them, because if we got to drive all the way to Raleigh, then, that's.
And we don't want, we want just a low, minimal bells and whistles. It's a work truck. And,
That's exactly what it is, but it has to have an 8-foot bed on it too.
Yeah, we want a manual 8-foot bed, but because we're willing to go with an extended cab, I think we can get that 8-foot bed more readily than having to get, say, a crew cab with an 8-foot bed.
Right.
That's a little bit more difficult of an animal to find.
There was the one.
Four-wheel drive too, right?
Well, I mean, I don't know that it's required, but
Because we've got one.
we've got the 4-wheel drive, yeah. So
It'd be nice, but it could be an option.
yeah, it can be an option. So.
But we were thinking, like a 40, get something that gets decent gas mileage. That's an
But I do know from looking at the trucks that they have around here that are reused at these car lots and stuff, 20,000 ain't nothing. Most of them are $39,000.
Well, right now, too. Used ones, the market for used is higher than almost the new, because.
I think they're willing to go work truck though. I don't know that there's massive demand for stripped down work trucks. I mean, people want some bells and whistles. They want a stereo. They want.
Yeah, I know, but I don't know if these actual car lots have something that's like a stripped down.
Probably not.
I don't think
We're
I've probably
probably
find
gonna
it
have
out.
to go to a bigger dealer that kind of deals in work trucks on a large volume of work trucks.
I just know I looked through the things that were available on there, and there's you're getting. I'm afraid I don't want to spend $10,000, $15,000 and have a lot of problems still.
I would think. What did I spend for that? About 20.
It was like 25,
Yeah,
26,
I
something
thought it
like
was
that.
between 25 and 30.
Yeah,
And that's generally what we'd like to get, although we don't necessarily need a 250,
no,
a half-ton,
or just a regular F-150. Yeah, be fine. Yeah.
just a regular half-ton.
And I looked even at Rangers and stuff, but my lord, they, so something that had an 8-foot bed that, that we could put those racks on, and it's just everything's how expensive. It's crazy how much they want for stuff. But I'll keep looking and digging, and I'll show you that website at some point in time there. So
Sure.
that she sent me to, and we can look at it a little bit more closely. I know that Gov.Deals, there was actual garbage trucks on there that you bid on, but they looked like they were like 1940.
Good track.
Yeah, and some of them did look like they moved in several years. So yeah.
You'll get a deal though.
All right, so any questions about the garbage truck? We're gonna keep hunting for the right fit, I guess is.
Yeah.
So we're looking at the election and the election worker.
Okay, so I called Teresa Garland with the Board of Elections today to find out if she had talked to Tabitha about reserving the event hall for the elections, because we have to, the whole place has to be sealed off. Can't use it at all. So no events of any kind for 3 days.
3 days?
Yes, it's 3 days. Isn't that
So the
crazy?
election goes for 3 days?
No, it's just that once they come in and put all the stuff up and you can't disturb it then from that point.
Oh.
So they come in 3 days prior, so they come in, I think on Sunday, Sunday, and put it in, and from Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, of course, being the election day, so on that third day, it's open, but,
What dates is it?
it's November 2nd. Charlie, do you know, is that the
Yeah, I
election?
think it is.
Isn't it the 2nd of November?
Sounds right.
Yeah, that sounds right.
So,
Is there not another place we could use? Like,
No, okay.
no.
we have went over that 100 times. We thought it'd be great if we could just do it here, but our bathrooms are not handicap accessible. We have the ramp, and, without that. So, anyway, in talking with her then from there, we always buy them lunch, and there's 3 workers, and they have to have secured phone lines and internet because they have to call in, all that. And we usually have 2 or 3 people is all that we have. It costs us about $4,000 for election, which is why we want to go to a 4-year cycle, and I'm still working on that. I have the lawyer working on that. I don't know where he's at on that, but anyway. So she said that she did not have access to federal funding this year. Now, I don't know if that means that they don't get paid anything, if they're just volunteers, but it seems like the election costs help pay for them, I would think, because, it can't be that. I mean, I know it'd be expensive to buy new equipment, like those booths and stuff like that, but they don't have to do that, but every so often, it just seems like that they get paid. And so she asked us if we got any of the federal funding for the pandemic, and we did. We are getting we're getting like $2,100 or something like that total, but it's broke up into 2 payments. So we got our first payment of like $1,100. So she wanted us to give $100 of that to each one of those workers. So to pay in addition to whatever they get paid for their lunch. And I was like, well, we kind of already earmarked that money. And also, it's like, there's 3-4 people, that's going to come here and vote. So then she asked if we could do 50 per person. So that's $150. So, I mean, I know how I feel about that, but that's all up to you guys. So that's something.
Well, they're already getting paid.
I think they are, but I don't know for sure. I didn't ask for that at the time. That
They might
hurt
be
me.
volunteering.
They may be, and they got paid through federal funding, but then maybe this year they're not getting any federal funding because all of that money is going directly to towns and
The government's
stuff.
not giving out any more free money?
I know, what's up with that, right?
It gets turned off, I guess.
So, I told her I'd bring it up to you guys tonight and let y'all vote on it, so. Or get your thoughts on it. I don't know if we have to vote on it, but it was.
Well, it's not that much money.
No,
I mean,
not-
we gotta have it, if 50 solves the problem, 50 apiece solves the problem, then I don't object to it. I mean, it's less than ideal, but a lot of things that have been less than ideal lately.
So you,
I'm
everybody's good with 50?
Everybody's generally in consensus on that, so.
Alright. If we had more people that came here and it was, then it would be different as far as the $100, I mean, I don't begrudge paying anybody for doing work but if they're volunteers, that kind of takes away the whole thing of volunteers. And if they're already getting paid, then why do we need to give money that we got to use for other things? So that's my issue with that, it's like, and I should have asked her and I just didn't think about it till later on, so.
So, any other discussion items anybody thinks we need to have? All right, I don't think we have any action items.
You don't think so?
So with that, I guess we're gonna need to go into closed session to discuss personnel. I'll entertain a motion for that.
I entertain a motion to go into closed session.
Okay. Thanks for making that motion, Tiffany. All in favor?
Aye.